In a world full of haters, insane content creators, and the ever soul-crushing hamster wheel of growing up, we are three best friends trying to do the impossible, create a podcast that helps you survive life. I'm Devin.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Daniel.
And this is Neds Declassified Podcast Survival Guide. Results may vary.
I don't even know how to do this anymore.
Well, you want to shimmy to the camera. I know that.
Yeah. Welcome back to Neds Declassified Podcast Survival Guide, episode number...
We can touch each other now. Look
We
at
don't
that.
know yet. For those listening, what he means is we are in person and we can touch each other on this couch here. We have a very special guest in studio with us today.
Yeah.
Our very own Nickelodeon alum, Shawn Flynn.
Shawn,
Hi.
Known in the underground as Rio. Why is that?
That's true. Well, it is my name. It is my middle name. My whole name is Shawn Rio Flynn Amir. I know it's quite a mouthful.
Why'd you get 4 names, bud?
You know, I am just that lucky, I guess. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I don't think there's another Shawn Rio Flynn Amir out there.
Fair.
So that's a one-of-a-kind name right there.
You're right about
Yeah,
that.
I think so. No, I grew up as Rio. So my mom and dad called me Rio. All my close friends called me Rio. It wasn't until I went to school, actually, that I started getting called Shawn by the teachers. And
Wow.
What about on the set of Zoey?
Well, so here's the thing. The other side of Shawn is that it was always my acting name. So I'm Shawn Flynn, right? As some of you may know, right? And so that's been my screen name. So yeah, of course on Zoey I was Shawn. The Rio thing never really caught on with people until I moved to Atlanta. So when I moved to Atlanta, I was like, oh, okay, fresh start. I don't really know anyone out here. I can just introduce myself as Rio.
Be who I wanna be.
I'm now Rio in Atlanta and Shawn to many other people, and I will accept both names.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, you know, I know it's a little much. I know.
No, I actually love it.
It's a high bar.
Yeah, I love it.
Shay Mitchell did this thing. So her name is Shannon, but she goes by Shay
right.
because she's like, I just wanted that little bit of separation between, whatever.
Yeah. It's like a new chapter
So Rio
of your
is
life.
sort of the familiar version of you, and Shawn is like Shawn.
So
yes, 100%.
I think I want you guys to start calling me Curtis now.
There we go.
I'm gonna move. I'm probably gonna move to Mexico because I had a great time out there. Drake Bell concert, it was lit, y'all.
Yeah,
You were in your element.
Bienvenidos a los Estados Unidos, mi hermano. Welcome back, my brother.
Gracias.
That was
But we
very
back,
authentic.
baby. We are back.
That is
I
sick.
spent some time in Mexico as well, my friend.
Yeah,
jeez.
what was it? Not San Luis.
Everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Puerto
guys are world
Vallarta, San Luis
travelers.
Potosí.
San Luis
Wow.
Potosí, that's what it was, bro. We went to Puebla, Mexico. Bro,
Puebla.
Drake moves around with police escorts out there, bro. It's wild, bro. We had a time, dog.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nickelodeon's
Have you ever
big.
met Drake Bell, Shawn Flynn?
Yes, I have met Drake.
Yeah.
I met Drake a couple times. The one that I remember the most was he came on Zoey as a guest on an episode, and he like played a rock concert for us, and it was super cool. It was the first time I met him, and I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. And
He guested on Zoey as Drake?
I didn't know that.
think I missed
yes,
this.
yeah, he
Wow.
guested on
gotta
Zoey
pull
as
the
Drake
clip.
Bell.
He was known just as Drake from the start.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, man.
Like from the
He's
start.
a legend. He's he's Nick royalty.
Facts, bro.
Absolutely.
Facts,
100%. So meeting him was amazing. It was super cool. Got to watch him play live. He was also such an inspiration to me too, because I loved playing guitar, right? So when I was on the set of Zoey, like I was always playing the guitar. I was annoying the shit out of everyone, I'm sure. I always would bring an electric and just keep it not plugged in so that no one
Dude,
could really hear
here's
it.
a
but
theory I have.
Just practice,
I think he kicked that off because I remember you were practicing guitar a lot. We had a tutor that came to
Right.
kind of teach us guitar, and I was like, I kind of feel like we're doing this mostly because it's a different angle. Like everybody wants that music arc from doing the
Sorry,
TV show.
I was never taught anything on a guitar,
Wait,
not by my own
tutor
father,
never came?
not by
It-
your
it-
mentors.
No,
He
no.
did it the biggest. I think he made
it was
pop.
not. I mean,
Yeah.
he was doing it at a real level at that point.
But you love music as well. Yeah, I grew up in
It was
music
not
too.
an angle when I was learning guitar on Neds. I don't think for you, like it was like I just was learning guitar. Like I like music.
It was
I never
fun,
thought
yeah.
of it as a
Bro,
career path
dude
or a
moves like
creative path.
Elvis out there. It's wild. He has these cold, like tailored suits and whatnot, bro. Like he has these dancers. He makes their outfits and stuff like that.
He's got the swag
Wow.
going.
Himself?
Bro, yeah. Well, he sits there, sews it himself. No, he hires a guy.
Well, I'd love to see that too, actually.
Yeah.
You know?
Bro,
Get
there were
entertainment.
45,000 people at this fair. The
That's
Puebla
crazy.
freaking fair,
That's
man.
absolutely
Yelling,
insane, Dan.
screaming, like, yeah, estás hermano. Like, bro, it's wild, bro. It's crazy.
That sounds awesome.
Wow.
That's really cool. Yeah, so no, he was a big inspiration for like my sort of foyer into music, into guitar. So he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Do you still play music, and do you only play guitar?
I primarily play guitar. I do dabble with a little keyboard too and stuff like that. I like to, just it's very relaxed. It's certainly not something that I consider anything more than like just a hobby. But there was a moment in my life where I really just was so passionate about music. I wanted that to be a part of my maybe career path.
Right.
Yeah.
Gave up on that dream pretty quickly. But that's fine.
Can you take me back to like booking Zoey? Like,
sure.
What was the early journey?
Well, we all remember Nick on Sunset, right?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yes.
Come on. Yeah.
I know it's gone.
I know.
Condos
I
now,
know.
baby.
I was about to say I'm
Doesn't
basically
exist.
kind of having a moment of silence for it.
Yeah,
It was
dude.
it was
Moment of
it was an establishment. It was an institution.
It really was.
And so I remember being there auditioning. I remember, the callbacks.
Yep.
I remember it was, maybe 2 callbacks before the final one where I started meeting some of the cast. I didn't know they were going to be the cast,
Right,
but
right.
I saw Matt Underwood there. I was like, oh dang, this kid's funny.
What a douche, right? No, I'm just
I mean,
kidding.
no, but I mean, his outfit was very.
We love you, Matt Underwood. We want you on the
even
pod.
at 13.
Oh no,
Bro,
no,
some of
and
them just got it, bro.
I
Built
gotta
different.
tell you, man, Matt Underwood, I love the guy so much. He's
Hell yeah.
so funny. And he would wear these tracksuits,
Yeah.
these 70s tracksuits.
That was his joint.
Really?
Matching, top and bottom. Yeah, like
Like
Tony
gangsters.
Soprano?
Long
yeah,
guy,
yes,
man.
100%. Yeah, and I'd be like, "Whoa, dude!" Like that's. And I remember when I first went over to his house shortly after we booked it, we were hanging out. Like he lived right across the street from a Taco Bell, and we would just go get Taco Bell all the time. He opened up his closet one time, and I just saw it was like the lights turned on and all the tracksuits, and I was just like, "He's like, check me out." Yeah, and he had all his shoes and stuff, and I was like, "Okay, dude,
That is
you're ready to go."
incredible.
Wow.
That's such
Yeah.
a funny quirk at like 14.
No, he was.
Just having it so together.
And one of the only
100%.
people that could pull that off.
Right.
I'm like, I couldn't
100%.
do
No,
that.
he nailed it. He nailed it. And so, I remember meeting him, Alexa. I remember meeting Aaron Sanders. And then, I mean, of course, I think one of the strongest memories is walking into the final, it was maybe the final callback and seeing Jamie Lynn was there.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like they were really wanting to test like if there was any chemistry or how it would, work out. How did we look together, et cetera.
Totally.
And, across the way were, that big table full of people,
Yeah.
including Mr. Schneider in the middle.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was really interesting because I didn't feel nervous at all, and I felt so at home in the skin of Chase. You know what I mean? In that character, it was one of those things where, I felt like I could do it with my eyes closed because I really related to Chase so much in so many ways. You know?
You had such a
Yeah.
cool laid back play on that character, man. I always admired that.
I appreciate that,
All the
man.
other Nick actors it was like big, like playing it big. I felt like
What?
you just kept
You were so.
What are you saying?
You were so too cool for school.
Listen,
I
I
always
can get
felt that
loud,
about there.
guys.
I was like, that guy's cool.
Oh, you
know?
guys are sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chase was classically cool, but
Exactly.
he's aged well.
Yeah, no,
he's,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like a
Sean,
fine
you
wine,
were cool, brother.
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you. You're
Yeah.
so sweet, Lindsay.
100%.
Dude, that's so funny.
I was very intimidated.
Intimidating.
Oh.
Yeah, because like
No
I
one's
don't
ever
know
said
why,
that to
but
me. I
like
love
there
it.
were certain like personalities who just took on this more like shrouded kind of mysterious thing. I think because you weren't so like forthcoming with all of the da 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 sort of that
Right.
that kid personality
you
that
weren't
we
collected.
pick me like the rest
right
of us.
right.
Well, it's funny. I was actually talking to Devin out there because we were talking about acting and sort of where I'm at now and the transition between then and now. And yeah, I never connected with it the way that I wish I could have. The craft itself, acting and just the whole idea of putting yourself out there and what it takes to really do. It takes a special person, to especially have the persistence. When I think about acting, I think about 3 things. I think about talent, I think about luck, and I think about persistence.
Yeah.
Right? And those
Yeah,
are like
dude.
the 3 legs to this stool.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to be hitting all of these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and really, you can get away with just 2. But you have to pick that combination, right?
Yeah.
So if you're
Yeah.
persistent
True.
for long enough and you're talented, okay,
Yeah.
something's gonna happen.
Yep.
Even if you're not talented, if you're
You're just
lucky,
lucky.
Right.
and
Right.
you're persistent
Right.
enough,
True.
something might happen, right?
Mhm.
So it's like pick those one of 2 of those, 2 of those
Yeah.
legs out of 3. and eventually we'll get there. But I couldn't.
true.
Yeah, I couldn't hang on, guys. I'm like that cat, you know.
Oh man,
I
no,
fell
maybe
off,
not.
you know?
Couldn't hang on, bro. Maybe it was time for you to let go and do what you're up to now.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
did you?
You know what I
What
mean?
did you want to happen, like career-wise, after Zoey? And what was the process of that changing in your 20s? Like, kind of we were talking about outside.
So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about my whole Zoey background. It's stuff I haven't really gotten into before, but that's why we're here, right? It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, like, I left Zoey at the end of season 3.
Okay.
Before the 4th season, where I got actually replaced with Austin Butler.
Holy shit.
Right?
Wait.
Austin
What?
Butler replaced
Yeah.
you?
Well, I mean,
Why don't I
he
remember that?
He became the love
wasn't
interest?
chased.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he
Oh.
kind of stepped in because I left the show.
Oh,
Right?
I didn't know that.
What?
Well, I mean, you know, to be fair, look, maybe they had plans to bring him in on the 4th season as
Right.
well, but I left Zoey on the 3rd season. And
Whoa.
so it was one of the toughest things ever because to this day, I mean, look, I still have feelings about it because I was a kid, you know, I was about 16, 17, and I just had this intense, I had an interesting situation at home, you know what I mean? Where, you know, my mom was the one who really encouraged me to get into acting, to follow that as a dream or as a passion. And my dad really did not support it in the same way. And he was very much interested in me, you know, making sure that I followed through on my education. I went to a very like prestigious Jewish private school at the time. And, you know, they had put a lot of money in there. And I remember that basically what had happened was my school actually gave me and my family an ultimatum. They were like, hey, look, you know, he's missed too much school. We can't graduate this kid if he goes and does this other show. Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to make a decision. And I chose to stay in school, and it ultimately was not a good decision because I got expelled from my school. What? Yes, in the very beginning of that same year, I got expelled, and I think it's because I sort of knew. Yeah, no, my journey is it's crazy. Damn. It's crazy. So anyway, yeah, at that point, I felt like I had sort of already fallen off of a path. You know, my agent let me go. I was with a new manager because it was just such a bad decision. It didn't make any sense. And
at the peak of the show.
Yeah, right. It was just like, and also I
Yeah.
think they had, you know, maybe some sort of a trajectory lined up for me a little bit. Maybe who knows? And I think I definitely could have continued along in a better way if I had just allowed myself to move down that path. But I derailed myself. You know what I mean? So
Same.
when
Can
I
I
did,
get it?
yeah, I was gonna say, what do you know? You know, things happen. You live, you learn, and at the time, it didn't feel like that because I was pursuing music and I was like, you know, everything's going to be great, you know, because I'm young, I'm optimistic. I'm also starting to get into other things, right? Beyond just what my career might be, you know, who am I on a deeper level? What are the things that, you know, make me tick? You know, I started going on sort of an inward journey, as I'm sure maybe some of all of you have, you know, done once or twice, sort of experimenting with things and, you know, really going down some interesting pathways. And by the time I was done with all of that experimenting and learning and growing, I was in a different place. You know, I was not the same person. I'm happy I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
And, you know, acting just, I needed to get some control over my life. That's what we were talking about, you know, is that I felt like I didn't have any control as an actor over what, and it ripples down. It's not just about, oh, am I going to get an audition or am I not? Am I going to get it or am I not? I mean, I don't get to choose what I wear. I don't get to choose, you know, it's literally just, hey, you're here and go. Yeah. And on some level, it's amazing and it's such a fun thing and I love it. But I also kind of wanted to get away from that too. I wanted to start writing my own story, you know, and starting figure out how I could navigate on my own, figure out what I could offer to the world outside of, you know, me talking, you know?
Yeah.
No, it's a very existential like choice for actors to have to make. Like it's that whole free will versus determinism. Like is everything already predetermined, you know? And that's in the wider level of things. But as an actor, you're showing up and you're doing you're enacting someone else's dream.
Yep.
So that can be a little tough. That's what got me into
Secondary.
directing and producing.
I love that. I love that. And then the fact that you brought up determinism, all that. Yeah, that's a huge part of what I was kind of exploring, just as a philosophy, just trying to get into, my view of what's going on. You know what I mean? Outside of just, the mundane everyday, going to work, this and that. Like, where are we going? What are we trying to do? Those were things that I was interested in as I was younger. I'm still interested in those things, but that occupied a very big part of my life. And in fact, one of the people who inspired me to sort of go down that path was actually one of the Nick on-set teachers. His name was Scott. I don't know if you ever worked with Scott.
Which Scott?
Pritchett, right? Is that his name?
Plimpton.
Yeah.
Dude,
Whoa,
Scott
that's our guy.
was
Devin
like-
really is.
That's
That's
incredible.
like-
I've stayed.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Scott.
Scott
now.
is such an amazing guy.
Scott
right?
changed my life.
He's
Like,
awesome.
I will never forget the warm sun rays from Scott Plimpton.
Wait, how did you
as
have
a
Scott
human
Plimpton?
being?
Because
So
he would just
he would go around. He would go around
He was
and-
on a lot of Nickelodeon. He was on Victorious. He was on a lot of things.
I felt really
wild.
lucky because everyone else on the show had a
thought I was
different
special.
teacher. I forget what her Miss Patty. I think.
Oh,
is her
Patty
name.
Foy.
Patty Foy
We
was also
love,
great.
We love
Patty's
Patty Foy.
amazing
Difference
too.
the big differences between her and
Yes,
Scott, but
100%.
both
But
lovely.
Scott, dude, I love hearing this, like, because Scott changed like all of our lives for
Oh,
the
yeah.
positive.
Superman.
It's so
That's
interesting
awesome.
hearing
Yep.
that he
He
like,
is
already
kind of
passed.
Superman, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's
very
wonderful.
kind.
Patty was an amazing, nurturing, like just good teacher. Scott was a true educator
Yes.
of like young minds. Like
Yes.
Scott truly cared about like guiding us into thinking deeper, feeling deeper. What do we want? Like
Yes.
having values, having integrity, like all that.
Oh,
He introduced me to Ken Wilber and
Yes.
oh, wow.
and integral theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And that was a game changer for me. I mean, it's still in some ways like a part of the way that I see the world. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so
Scott's
Yeah.
gonna love hearing this.
no, Scott's a really cool guy, man. Like I said, he changed my life for the better for sure. And
Yep.
so
Wow.
yeah, we all have those fun stories,
It
and
is-
so I feel lucky because I was the one. So everyone else got taught by Miss Patty, and because of my school and they had different requirements and stuff, I wasn't homeschooled. Everyone else, I think, almost was
Right,
homeschooled.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So I got Scott, and so yeah, it was cool. It was a very
Wait, so Scott was
Wow.
specifically for you?
for me. Yeah, I was in my own trailer.
Oh, but
It
that's
was-
dope,
it
man.
was-
You
Because you
have
had like real school
great
to do.
connection.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we got Jewish studies here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah.
And
Dang.
Scott was like, I can't help you with this, but I was like, I can certainly tell you about other things.
It,
so.
it is trippy if you're pursuing acting or you're in acting and then pursuing like kind of like deeper philosophy, existential stuff, because acting is so made up.
It's
like,
so
fictitious,
surface.
right?
Right? Exactly. Yeah, I know.
but then it has
Yeah.
such depth too. But if
Of
you're
course.
doing both, it gets really confusing.
Yeah.
Like, because I've
100%.
gone on these explorations as well of like what matters and who am I and what are we.
Bro.
And then I'm still like pursuing acting. It's circled back around now where like I've been doing it so long that now all I know is like I've been doing it this long. I still love it. I really can judge it. Like there are surfacey things about it. There is like toxic sides to it. And there's something that like moves me deeply.
Yes.
So I'm just going to stay with that.
Of course.
Yeah,
Gotta follow your heart, man.
Yeah, but it
100%.
does get weird. And then it especially gets weird. You said like 28 was when you started to like go like, I have no
Grapple.
control over my life. I maybe need to do that. And like the depression that comes with, that is the hard part with acting is like as we get older, as kids, it was easy to
Yes.
pursue.
Yes,
100%.
You take direct. I mean, as a child, you're already in school taking direction. You
Yeah.
want people to validate you, and that feels all good. But once you get old enough to be like, oh, what is my place in life, and do I have any, like you say, say in this? Stuff? Do I have any
Agency.
agency,
Say.
control?
Well, and also as
This stuff.
kids, we hit it. We were doing it. Like,
I
so
know.
it was
Know
like,
what you needed
we
to do.
succeeded.
yeah, so it was like,
Yeah.
this is, I can be successful at this. And then in your 20s, when you're not where you want to be, you're like, wait a second.
Bro, when
Oh,
you bitten the
100%.
apple early, and then it's like, no, they're taking the apple away, or it's starting to get
Yeah.
rotten now. Oh God.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel good. 100%. And I think
Sure.
really, like, it comes down to, like, at least for me anyway, personally, right? When I showed up as Chase, I really was basically showing up as myself.
you.
Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, let's
Totally.
face it, right? And then as you get older and you start getting into the world of act, what does it mean, right, to get into acting? Well, yourself is maybe a component there, but you're obviously exploring deeper, parts of you or things that really aren't even necessarily a part of you, right? Yeah, and you want to somehow get that in there, and that's that's where the rubber meets the road. and it's a completely different animal than being a child actor and showing up. You know,
Totally.
we would show up and
That's
and
so
have
true.
fun too.
We all got cast like for
Yeah.
basically being us. You big old nerd, Daniel.
Comfortable,
Except
you
for
know.
Daniel played a true,
play football,
not
but-
himself.
Yeah, I
Um,
was gonna say Matthew Underwood was the only person who was actually acting on our
sure.
show. You know what I mean?
It's true. There's like a few like that are true characters.
He's
but
the
a lot
nicest
of us
guy
were
in the
just
world, you know?
cast as us for being us.
100%.
Yeah, we got like lucky that the role hit who we were as kids at the time.
It's the luck.
And
the
then we thought
persistence,
we're amazing.
Everybody says so.
no.
Yeah,
That's not what
Everybody
that
says so. So,
My dad never let me thought that.
yikes.
Wait,
Ow.
how is the relationship
I'm just kidding.
with
Dad, I
Pops?
love you.
Yeah, there we
he's
go. There we go.
He's very supportive. He really is.
And
But-
he wasn't entirely
Wrong about-
for wanting to
Go into
value
academia.
your
Yeah.
education.
Yep,
like, fuck,
100%,
man.
and also to ground me, because at the end of the day, like what I did was fine for what it was, but like he was the type of person to say, well, get better, you know, like you can do better, you can always do better, and so basically things end up never being good enough, right? But that's, you know, there's that balance there, and that's why, you know, I had as a kid, it took me a while to understand that what he was doing and how he was doing it and how it's helpful, you know, at the end of the day, if you can figure out how to navigate it. As a kid, it's a little tougher, you
Definitely.
know. And that's,
Fathers
you know,
are
I'm
great.
so lucky. My mom was like the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my God, you're the best. You're the most amazing, right? And it's
Well,
like,
that's
well,
confusing.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, well, I don't believe you. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle.
In the middle, the
between
dichotomy
being
of it all,
worthless
man.
and amazing, you know, like something like that. What do you know? Anyway.
How did it change your path to be like expelled from school? How did that change
my
with your
God.
Yeah,
parents?
what'd
and
you
then,
do?
And then
Did you do drugs,
when did you
kid?
move
Yeah, I
away?
did.
How did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I was
Been
selling
there,
weed.
brother.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
selling weed and smoking weed. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know? Yeah. I was gonna say.
Damn it.
Yeah, I definitely got a little too close to the sun there.
Been there, brother.
But yeah, that was the beginning of a journey. I mean, for me, at that point, I basically sort of just embraced the whole like going off the rails aspect of life.
oh yeah, you were like, well,
Amen.
fuck it.
Yep, and I traveled a lot.
Good.
I did a lot of psychedelics. I did a lot of reading, and I did a lot of partying and had a lot of fun. Basically, yeah, for a long time, you know, and had some really amazing experiences. I learned a lot about myself, right?
Yeah.
And after that, I realized that I needed to maybe get a job or something, do something, you know,
You
like
have to.
you know, the money was starting
goes
to
only so
dwindle,
far.
and
Yeah.
you know, reality sets in.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I have to figure out and I couldn't do it in LA. I moved to Atlanta, right? So I'm living in Atlanta now. It took me a while to get there, but Atlanta was the place where I could really kind of jump in to the film industry in a different way. It's all I know. It's what I live and breathe.
Yeah.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, like picking up some furniture and moving it around in the set deck department was like not a problem for me. You
Hell
know?
yeah.
Wow,
So that's what I
yeah.
did for like a few years. I also worked in the paint department as well.
Yes.
And I learned a lot in there. It was really cool. It was fun. I made a lot of money. I mean, these guys make a
Yes.
great living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially back when we actually could work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
It's a whole different world now. Although one of my best friends still in the paint department, he's working right now. He's working on the Cape Fear. They're doing a new version
Wow.
of Cape Fear,
okay.
another one.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
Want
he's
to
my
shout him out? You
partner.
can say his name.
Yeah, he's my business partner for this game that we'll get into.
Okay,
later.
sick.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's really cool, and yeah, the industry is still doing well out there, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, so I moved out there and started working behind the camera. Started to understand that. Got into a little e-commerce, little video
nice.
photography. You know?
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Tight.
A little videography and stuff like that. So we did stuff with like McDonald's, Hershey's, Campbell's, right?
Yeah,
We
wow.
just basically like turntable photography. You know what I mean? Where you'd
Right.
see the product kind of floating and spinning and looking really sexy for some reason. You're like, wow, why is that chocolate looking so good? You know what I mean?
He's like, I'm the guy
It's like
behind that.
liquids melting all over. You know what I'm talking about? And then all of a sudden the
Yeah, you little
strawberry
freak.
pops
Yeah,
out
I
of
got
it. You
it.
know, like
So what, is it just a blow dryer you're using to make it?
dude. Honestly, this is the craziest part.
Yeah.
Is like how much that goes into that. You know, what I mean, like we ended up having to like design certain machines and stuff
Just
to
to pull it
get
off.
it to do what we needed to do. Yeah, 100%. It's
Brilliant.
a whole art form,
Brilliant.
of course.
That's the G.
And now, cut to closer to where I'm at now. About 3 years ago, I started working at the studio that I had been working at for the e-commerce stuff. It's called Eagle Rock Studios, and it's a really cool facility. It's the largest contiguous stage under one roof. So it's like
Whoa.
470,000 square feet
Holy
of
crap.
stage space. Yeah, we have 4 stages there. about 40,000 square foot each. And yeah, we're filming a Paramount Plus show there. It's Tulsa King. It's
Whoa.
with with Stallone.
Yeah.
And then we're doing another show. It's called Will Trent. It's on ABC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really lucky. Both of those shows are actually performing really well, like in their own way.
Lit.
So I'm the director of operations there. That sounds really
amazing.
fancy.
That's tight.
That is very fancy.
What I really am is just the facilities manager, glorified.
Love it.
So I have stage techs that work under me, and we run the studio. Make sure that the lights stay on, that we have good internet, that we are in compliance with the fire safety, all that stuff. We basically have you guys seen the trailer for the new show? It's called The Studio with Seth Rogen.
Of course, I've been watching it.
I was like, we saw the trailer. We're like, okay, that's it's not quite like that, obviously, because it's a show. But yeah, that's our life. Every day is different. It's crazy. We had a guy hit the fire, one of the sprinkler heads the other day in a truck because you drive inside. Everything's inside, including the Winnebagos, everything, the talents inside. Hair and makeup, all of it.
Tight.
It's cool. Yeah, we have a breezeway for it. It's really cool. You get built-in savings working there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because especially in Atlanta, we have weather out there. Unlike you guys,
actual
right?
weather.
So lightning stops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they cost the studio tons of money, and we just don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff.
All indoor.
And of course, the talent gets straight to the stage. They don't have to get in the golf cart. Their hair gets messed up. Maybe some paparazzi, right? Don't have to worry about any of it. So it's cool. I love working there. I have a great team of people that I work with.
Epic.
And it's fun.
It sounds so good and grounding while still being in the industry.
It is. It is.
being
It's like
able
I
to
found
move
my
away
sweet
from
spot.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, man.
Because I still love the environment of the. I mean, I still love acting, but I still love the environment of the industry. I just love
There's an
like you
energy.
said, yes, there's an even
100%.
painting the set
Yes.
deck. Everyone there is crafting something,
And we're on a mission.
passionate about it, and has opinions about it.
Yes.
I love it.
It's me too.
There's such an energy to it.
That is contagious, no
Yeah.
doubt. And that's why, despite the fact that, maybe the acting thing, isn't exactly my priority right now.
Yeah.
I still love the whole process of creating, right?
Yeah.
So writing scripts, my buddy and I, we love to write scripts. It's fun. We just do it for fun, and that's really before we stumbled into this new project that we're working on, which, like I said, we'll get to.
Well, yeah, it's
We'll get to
coming.
in a little bit, but
I have just one last question before we kind of
I got one more
segue
too.
into this
Go
great game. So you're in your big boy life, you're doing all of the things, this and that, and then Zoey 102 comes about.
there we go.
how
Oh
does
yes,
that come
Zoey 102.
Yes.
Yeah.
They fired Austin Butler and said we need the real guy.
I was gonna say,
They said
he wouldn't come back.
Get out of here.
Imagine
for
that.
some reason he won't come back for this.
Yeah, I don't know.
All
Do you
love to
want
y'all.
to play Chase again?
I'm assuming that's how the conversation went. No, I'm just kidding. No.
like double his
Listen,
salary.
this was so friggin' cool. You know what I mean? I got a call from my agent, my manager. I was like, okay, hi. I haven't spoken to you in 7 years.
We've been
so
waiting for
I know
that
that
call
something
for
is happening. I'm
67
either
years.
getting let go, or something's good happening. So anyway, yeah, she's like, oh yeah, how would you feel, about doing this? And at the time it was, we weren't sure if it was going to be a movie or if it was going to be a reboot, whatever. I was like, look, count me in. And of course it's always because of the people, right? So,
Who's involved?
yes, I love Matt Underwood. I love Chris Massey. I love
Chris.
Jamie. I love all these people. I love Aaron Sanders, everyone, right?
Dope.
So it was a no-brainer to come back and work with them. And it really was magic, right? It was I had so much fun doing it. It felt really good. What can I say? We had a great time. And, I know Jamie and Lynn had fun with it as well.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I don't know. What can I say? It was a good time.
That's
I was
so
on a
exciting.
billboard,
You were on
Yeah.
hella billboards,
Yeah.
man.
It
I know, I
felt
enjoyed
good
it.
to watch it because, knowing all of you and just knowing, I could imagine what it would be like to be back together on set making that movie. Because also the movie was fun. The plot was fun.
It
you
was
guys
really
got to
good.
be adults. You got to have fun. You got to be silly. I was like, oh, this is great.
I think they did
know
it
they
right.
Had a good ass time.
I think they did it right because there was definitely room for it to not do as well as it did. But I think that like you said, the writers were really, really good.
I thought they nailed it.
Yeah, and they're so funny too. They have their own thing going on. They've been working with Nick for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel really lucky that I got to do that. It was a really good way to sort of just dip the toe back in, but also kind of maybe I don't know, just see everyone again, work with everyone again.
Well, some closure to that well, whether it has sequels from now or whatever, but some closure for the character that
Yes.
you had to
100%.
step away from.
Yeah, it was cool, and I got the opportunity to kind of have a little bit of more fun with the acting, right?
Yeah.
So there were some moments there that were a little emotional, so I got to try and take a stab at that.
Yeah.
What do you know? It's not easy. It's true. I mean, acting is it is a really tough craft. It is. It's I don't the more you get into it, the more it feels like sort of entering a trance. Like getting yourself to be able to go into a trance, and get hypnotized.
Yeah.
And I've always said to myself that no one could ever hypnotize me. I'm like one of those
But you
people.
can hypnotize yourself.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think if I'm acting well, then maybe I'm hypnotizing myself. But yeah, I mean, have you guys ever done any hypnosis stuff or anything like that?
No.
Like, because I just don't. I mean, where do you guys stand on this? Is it real? Is it not real?
It's real.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't know.
I think
You know
it's
what I mean?
real,
Like,
but I don't think it happens in that place where it's like follow my hands.
that's
or
what
like
can
this or
someone
that.
make you bark like a dog? Is basically what I'm asking you. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, if you didn't want to.
I've seen those. I've seen those performances, and I'm like, maybe.
I know
don't
that's
think
yeah.
so.
I would like to think
A big
no,
maybe.
but-
No, I'm sorry.
Hey.
Lindsay, are you telling me that you wouldn't get hypnotized
Listen,
in like a
I
heartbeat?
can't get out of here. Okay, that's the problem. I would bring on the hypnosis. Let me leave.
But I've also
Yeah.
heard of the non-public like hypnotherapy, like where like
Yes.
no, they do it. They're like, no, I'll go tell your subconscious to maybe feel like you're good enough.
right, but like
Yeah.
you're
It's
just-
still
it's just-
there. Like especially like
I don't know, never done it.
I don't know.
I know neither. Have I. But that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
about this shit sometimes.
Yeah, you guys
I'm
are
like,
like,
I'm
no.
like, I don't know
I'm like,
about
maybe.
that.
I'd
I
have
think
to
it's
go
maybe
see
I
it.
more
also feel like there's a
subtle.
willingness that you have to have going into it
Already,
to
yeah.
allow that to happen. Otherwise, you're
I do
just
think
like,
so.
nope, not letting go, not letting go. That's all you're
I
thinking
believe
about
in
the
like
whole time.
psychosomatic stuff, like
Right.
where if you're thinking a certain way, it can lead to
Oh yeah,
effects in
100%.
your body. So
I
think a
believe
lot
that
more,
too.
you know,
No doubt. Well, that's
simple
what
than that.
they
What are
say.
you gesturing to?
Oh, they
Ned?
say stress
when
is
I
bad.
think about something, but that's wild.
No, I believe in all that stuff too. That's
Yeah.
that's why they say
Yeah.
that stress is bad, right? They're like, don't feel bad.
Bro,
You know?
so
Yeah.
we had Chris Massey on the show, so he's another Zoey 101
Yeah, I saw his
alumni,
episode.
and we're kind
Killed
of
it.
trying to catch them all. We're trying to catch
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah.
You know any
Go.
other
I was gonna
We need to
say,
catch you.
I've yeah,
Pokemon.
I was gonna say, okay, I see where you guys are going with this. This is good. Yeah. Well, speaking of more people from Zoey 101, I happen to have a friend here.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
No!
Who the f- is that?
He's been hanging out
Jack
in the corner
Salvatore?
watching.
How's it going, guys?
Watching us this whole
I've
time,
just been
Jack?
here.
Just creeping in the corner.
Did you
How you
bring that
doing,
chair from
Jack?
home?
I did, yeah. I've been. This water's been on the ground, and I didn't want to get in the camera.
To drink
I've been
it.
so thirsty.
Enjoy your water, brother.
But hey, how you
Hey,
doing?
Jack.
we out here, baby.
Listeners at home,
Let's
we
let
have
Jack
other
drink some
Zoey
water.
101 alum Jack
Yeah.
Salvatore.
Hello.
Nice.
Haven't seen either of you
legend.
guys in over
Eons.
10 years, I think. It feels kind of good. It feels kind of trippy.
I know,
feels
it feels
great.
right. It feels like it's something they didn't want to happen, but we're doing it anyway.
Anyway.
We're joining
Said
forces
we couldn't.
anyway.
We're crossing the streams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
we sure are, brother.
This is the closest we'll ever get to a reboot, sitting next to these guys right here.
It's the
This is
closest Nickelodeon will allow us to a reboot is interviewing you guys.
We
You
love
guys
it.
are so beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're
hey,
not.
Will,
So,
Like how you said that.
no, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I watched your guys' episode with Victorious. God was
Leon.
Say it.
Oh,
No,
Leon Thompson?
No.
Oh, Matt Bennett.
Matt Bennett.
Bennett, yeah.
That's
Sorry,
it. There
thank
we
you.
go.
And I heard about how you guys are locked up because Nickelodeon owns the IP
Yeah.
to Neds, and that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Very.
But I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys want to do? What's your dream project? Because I write, I ideate.
We got a
Jack
writer on
Salvatore
the
doesn't
team
My
just
now.
whole
write.
deal is
Oh, it's
He
over.
writes it up.
It's
is
over.
I,
No!
He tears it
I
up.
tailor things to people. I'm a dream maker. I like
Yo,
galvanizing people and
bro,
utilizing
let's bring him
passions
in.
Oh,
Maybe
I
with,
love that.
We're working on something with Scott Fellows, the original producer of Neds. I mean, if there's some room in there, we'll run it by him. Like,
David Kendall.
David
do y'all
Kendall.
Listen,
remember
he
David
will
Kendall?
only bring good things to the project.
I
can
believe
tell you
that,
that.
and I can feel that.
Yes, and
yes, and
He goes, I just want to play Ned when we actually get into it.
My one request.
No, we actually want to hit you up because we're trying to give ourselves some own closure with this.
yeah,
With
I mean,
Neds.
there's that, and like, I don't know. I really want to make some, like, the three of us Yeah,
Yes.
we've like gone for the reboot in real ways, and we were talking to Paramount, and then they got sold. And it all fell apart. But beyond that, like even a short, the three of us that isn't Neds related, like interests me. Like just doing something narrative, the three of us again. That's maybe dark and funny seems
There's
right.
some fan fiction that we want to throw up because it's just like this a beautiful whatever.
That sounds spicy.
No, we're filming that.
You don't know about this yet. I'm taking you to Mallorca.
You just need Jack to adapt the fan fiction into a really solid script.
Hey,
you know?
let's
We
get it.
It's
would
done.
be down with that.
Yeah,
How
I
have
don't know,
you
I feel
guys
like-
stayed in touch and friends and
Oh, yeah.
everything?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Jack
with
and
him
I
in
go back.
Atlanta, I can't stay friends with like anyone who lives
Oh, yeah.
like 40
5
miles away.
minutes.
I mean, we like call each other every week.
Yeah,
It's really cute.
no, it's really, it is actually,
boys.
it's really adorable. I gotta say, no, it is.
Did that
yeah.
start with the reboot or was it before?
No, we've been in touch. We've
The
been
whole
in
time?
touch. Yeah, we've had our ups and downs.
Yeah,
and
I'd say so.
and yeah, I was gonna say we got back in touch with each other a few years ago.
Ooh,
so.
what was the falling
spicy.
out? Tell us.
What were the downs?
So listen, nothing really crazy. Jack and I, Jack just tried to kill me. No, no, it's fine.
He didn't succeed.
That's a different story.
Didn't do it.
No, no. We actually just to make it really quick. We actually used to do sketches together on YouTube. We were writing sketches together. It was.
We reached out to you at one point.
Yes,
And
we
he didn't
did.
pick up, just like he didn't pick up Drake Bell's call, and it
We
ruined
never
everything.
forgave you, Devin.
We had a
Answer the
grand,
call,
we had a
Devin.
grand master plan. of
Imagine where we would be
making
right now.
We wanted to make like a sketch comedy show that utilized all the familiar faces from childhood.
Wow.
And turn it into, bridge that gap between childhood and adulthood.
Yeah.
And,
That sounds really smart and good.
Yeah.
It was a cool
Listen,
idea.
I wish it still
you would have pitched me.
No,
We tried. It's never too. It's never too
Bro,
late.
yeah.
It's never
Bro,
too
our
I
late.
don't
Rolodex
remember this at
is
all.
getting
Who knows what
crazy.
I was doing?
We were both
Probably
having
drugs.
fun, I think. Yes,
Probably
I was
that.
gonna say,
Yeah, that
yes,
always
we were
does it.
all having fun at that.
Dude, we are in touch with so many people now since starting this podcast. So
Yeah.
if there's people, let me know. Even these conventions, like I got my hands in a lot of that. So
The network.
yeah, let's touch whoever we need to and let's make something happen, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you got to get that game going. Okay, so now we want you to bring this to us.
Yeah, she
this
brought us
game.
your lovely assistant. Tell
But
us about the
these
game.
would kill at cons.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, basically, I have to introduce you. Yeah. So. Allow me to introduce MicroDudes, okay?
Hey.
It's the latest collectible trading card game. It's inspired by the likes of Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, Pokemon, all
Yeah.
the games that I sort of grew up collecting as a kid, right? But instead of monsters and magic, we deal with deranged dudes. So,
You know what the world needs right now is more toxic masculinity.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Not enough
And
of
we
that.
need to
Definitely not
we need to
enough.
highlight
You
it.
got to
So-
bring it to light.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like our monsters are real, so they're all out there and among us,
In
Yeah.
the dive bars,
And yeah, it's funny.
Don't look
So
at me
in the
like
I
Walmart
got
parking lot.
Right?
I got my alphas, I got my betas, I got my sigma males for all you out there on the internet. Lindsay didn't know what a
I didn't know
sigma
what-
male was.
Yeah.
They're outside the spectrum.
I mean,
But he
audience
seems the
members who
most
are
my
like her.
type.
What is that
Spectrum.
Sigma male?
So the sigma
They're like,
male
I don't
is
even.
it's a legend. So first of all, we all know about the socio hierarchy, right? And believe me, I subscribe. I feel like an alpha every day, right?
I don't.
No, the whole thing is Jack, it's okay to be a cuck beta.
You are in the
That's-
podcast cup chair.
So
Damn.
no, it's good. It's good. So I'm as you can tell, this is very tongue in cheek. I'm making fun of the whole idea of even categorizing
hierarchy,
people
yeah.
and putting them into these boxes, and also all the very low hanging fruit that there is to make fun of in terms of like what guys do on a day-to-day basis, right? So you have your alphas, you have your betas, you have your sigmas. The sigma, just to answer your question,
Yes,
doesn't exist within the hierarchy of alphas and betas. They're on the side. They're doing their own thing. The lone wolf.
My man.
You
I
know?
feel like a Sigma,
My
I think.
man.
Apparently, John Wick is the prototypical
ultimate
Sigma
Sigma.
male, because he goes off on his own. And these guys lash out at each other, right? So they have egos instead of HP, right? So no hit points. They just have ego. You got to chip away at it with moves like gaslighting,
Wow.
mansplain, cyberbullying.
Mm.
Won't take a hint. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's really fun. It's a cool game.
Blind Rage.
Blind
That's
Rage,
hilarious.
yes.
There's a card in there that's like, pay alimony.
Pay-
Oh, yeah.
no.
There's X in court.
Bar brawl.
Where did
Exit
this
court
come
is
from
crazy.
for you, dude? Why? What?
How did this come
Oh,
about?
geez,
Yeah,
bro.
what
I've been
are you
thinking about
doing?
this for a long time. Okay, first of all, look, just to cut straight to the chase.
Yeah.
I'm
To
weird.
the chase?
He said, "I'm." Oh, to the. Ooh,
I
you're
like that.
good.
That was a good moment right there.
Sorry, I'm
No,
an
no,
idiot.
no, it's
a
great.
good
That's great.
That's amazing.
It helped the joke.
Yeah, that was
It was
Jeez.
great. No, I'm a strange guy. What can I say? I've, in a healthy way. I promise. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, like, what can I say? It started with a collection of really weird looking dudes on my phone. Okay, I'd see them on Facebook every night. It really started my mom's Facebook. Oh my god, the amount of weird dudes on there. You know what I mean? Because they're all just like, you know, on there, and they're like, hey, let me upload a photo I took on my phone or something. And it's like, come on, dude. I mean, I have some really creepy looking guys, and like, if I could insert them, I would. You know,
if I may, from my perspective, on the set of Zoey 102, this is kind of how it would go down. It's like the
Yeah,
phone
I'd
would come
whip
out
it,
and be
yeah.
like, let me show you my dudes.
I'd be like, oh, check out this latest guy that I got. You know what I mean?
Proceed to swipe through an album of like 5,000 faces of like of dudes, male pattern baldness.
Fucking,
and, like,
I'm pulling it out. You know what I mean?
Pull it out.
He's got,
This is a weird folder, bud.
Yeah.
It is a weird
at my
folder. It's a
dudes.
folder that's
a weird
that's
collection.
weird that I'm proud of. Here, just scroll through some of these beauties. You know what I mean? When you see people like that,
Is that Jerry
that's
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, wow, that's not
there's
even
a
a
few
dude.
there's a
That's
few
a woman.
familiar
Okay,
faces.
Florida man.
His teeth. Do not go with the care he should give his skin.
the confidence in the.
Listen,
wait.
I can't help
Okay,
but be
listeners,
inspired
First
by
of all,
people
we
some
like
of
that.
these look.
Scrolling
Is that Stephen Baldwin?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one
it
of
is.
the
It
Baldwins.
is. It is. There's a few familiar faces in there, no doubt.
Yeah,
you know?
Dang.
wow, listeners at home, we are oh my god, we are scrolling
Wow.
through.
There's some really creepy
Shawn
guys.
Rio's dude collection.
Wait. You guys,
the dudes that
Time
started it all.
Wait.
Dude,
should I pull up all the photos I have of dicks and see
no.
which ones would go with
Yes,
these
we
guys?
can match them
I
together.
asked for dick pics and everybody's like, "You're disgusting."
Wow.
I'm like, I've never laughed so hard in my fucking life.
I don't
Okay,
know,
so-
Lindsay. This might top your dick pics.
I was gonna say it seems
I can
like
put my
we're
pics right under there.
we're into similar things.
Yeah.
The similar but
is
different.
shocking.
That's wild,
Okay, first
bro.
of all, why did this man make it?
Well, I mean, look at him.
Because you want to
said
be
I'm
him.
using it.
Because I
wanna
wanna be him.
I want to be him. Can I be honest?
And by the way,
I wanna
that's
be
the
her.
answer every
be
time.
fair,
when
I
you're
was-
like, why is this guy in here? And it's like, well, just look at him.
Look at him. That's the answer. I mean, you don't even need science.
That's you. That's you.
Oh, what is
In
this?
20
See, it would have been
years
funny if I
playing
had a
You work
picture
at the
of Evan in
Magic
there
Castle, I know that.
so
secretly.
you were
but-
collecting these dude faces before the game existed?
Yes, of course. Yeah, this is my
hello,
inspiration. This
inspiration.
is
Show them
it's
to
research.
everyone.
It's all
every opportunity, every downbeat.
This is your friend that you call every week.
I fucking love him.
This is great.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, and it launches. It's launching on.
So check it out, you guys. So this is more than just fun fantasy. It's a real thing now. Okay, so I have a
Nice.
Kickstarter, I have a website, we have Instagram, all of it. Okay, you can
Nice.
follow us at micro.dudes at Instagram with Instagram.
and the Kickstarter's almost
The
at the
Kickstarter
end.
is live.
It's live for a few more days as of us releasing this.
I
so
really
you guys
need your
go-
help. It's
now,
not
go
looking
now, guys.
good, guys. No, I'm serious. Like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, but it's fine.
We're gonna make it, baby.
It was a good try.
Push it
and,
across the
and
finish
maybe
line.
with your help we can do it.
Yeah, maybe
crush
so.
it.
But please do check it out. It's
Yeah.
MicroDudes at Kickstarter. There, I'm sure you'll find it very easily, and
To
we would
fulfill
appreciate your
his
support.
dream of dudes.
Yes,
Time out,
Share
time
his
out.
dudes with
Time
you.
out,
My
time out.
dude's
So,
dream.
Sorry, from the photos to the game. How did
Yes.
that?
Oh my God. Well, it's. I mean, you know, as Jack alluded, he was there for some of the thought process. I just thought, wow, it'd be really fun to like be able to collect these guys. And then I got with my friend. Yeah, exactly. So,
I love this
but
so
in
much.
Support from a friend.
in physical form. I mean, I want to touch them. I want to know about them. Right? So I got my business partner Matt and I. Matt was going to be here with me, and I really wish he could have made it. But he's a scenic artist. He works in Atlanta, Georgia. He's working on. I mentioned this. He's working on Cape Fear. So
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
he's that friend. So
Cool.
he's
On your
my
t-shirt.
my business partner. In fact, he is. Yeah. Can they see?
Oh,
this? Hold on.
t-shirt. Yeah, let's see.
Let's get a
Oh,
look.
what's up, dude?
Hey,
brothers.
MicroDudes. Oh, wait, that's you guys.
The original MicroDudes. That's
That is
Oh,
so
wow.
funny, dude.
cute, right?
Really cute.
Really cute.
Nice.
So, so he and I developed this game together. He helped develop the art style. He helped develop like the game itself. So he and I figured out how to actually make a fucking game, and it's really cool. Like, it's a very simple game.
Yeah.
The way it works is that you take these guys and you make squads of 3, and they all complement each other. Hopefully, you know,
Right.
the way that you set them up. Some guys are good wingmen, and some guys are good like in the center. You know what I mean? And so you set up your squad, and then you roll to see who goes first. It's a dice. It's with the dice game, right? So it's not all tabletop games are like that. So there's a little element of randomness and all that. So it's fun, and then you basically can either attack your opponent, you can equip an item, or you can use a utility. And a utility will usually just like help your guys, you know, maybe heal them or something like that. So you
Like,
just
like a beer, a pack of beer. Or something
yeah,
like
something
that.
like that. Yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
This is
so it's super fun and
listeners
simple.
at home.
That is
the artwork
incredible.
of these cards is incredible, and it is so funny.
It's silly, yeah.
It's really silly funny. I don't game like this, but I got friends who are like super into Magic, super into any kind of like game that they can gather around, have some laughs, have some fun.
If that sounds like you, this is for you.
I think Post Malone's really big into Magic.
Yeah,
like,
he is. He loves
like
that.
a whole world for this.
You got to stay fully
and
covered,
these are
Lindsay. Yeah.
fucking funny.
Got condoms in there. Okay, there you go. Nice.
Yeah. Raw meats,
dude.
Yeah,
The artwork is
The raw meats are
incredible.
unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
So this
you
is
guys.
kind of difficult to make a game because we were like, oh yeah, let's just sit down because we were thinking about making a card game at one point. This is really cool.
Thank you so much.
It takes a little, but it takes a lot. So you get 3 of them together, then you roll. Then what do you try to take down everybody else's
You
people?
try and chip away at their ego.
Chip away
That's
at
it.
all
You
of
want
the
them
other
to
3.
shatter their ego
Until
you
their
know what I
ego's
mean?
gone.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
exactly
men do
right. That's what we do.
together.
Yeah.
We tear each other down, Jack.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna
Build
wipe some
each
sweat
other
off my-
up.
He knows.
Wipe that
He
sweat.
know-
Wipe that
wait,
sweat.
Oh, Lindsay knows about that. She's got a
I'm
couple.
sorry.
She's got a couple sweat
This has
rags
been.
around.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please have that. I didn't put it on my face yet.
Yeah, dude.
It's
Here,
just
I
been
got
near
this.
Devin's ass. Damn it.
I have
It
a
is.
no,
No,
no, today.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
Men would pay top dollar for that sweat rag.
These
there.
are so
Do you know how
funny.
cute that is that I just got offered several hankies?
Here you go, dude.
Hey.
Yeah,
Safe
because
space.
we
loves
love
you,
you.
dude.
Yeah, man.
This is
Everybody
such a
loves
safe
you.
space.
Well, right there.
I
That's my little sweat
absolutely love this. Congratulations, because
I'm
there's
so glad
truly
you guys like it.
There's nothing
kinda funny,
better than choreographed merriment around everybody. So this is amazing. I love games.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys dig
Yeah.
it.
And
it's
I
tapped
really
into
do
reality.
believe
I
in
love
it.
it.
We're going to be hitting some
that human
conventions.
clothes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to be able to
Rare
take some
item.
HGH. Yeah,
This
yeah.
is so funny. Yeah.
It's stupid, right?
This
Yeah, it's
is
good. In a good way,
incredible.
you know.
Yeah.
Lindsay, though, you're right. So everybody go check out MicroDudes on Kickstarter
Please
for sure.
do.
Please, right
Check
now.
it
You got to
out.
do it
Right
right
now.
now.
Yes,
Go
follow
check it
us
out.
on Instagram.
Have you been involved
all
in
of
this
it.
business, Jack?
Yeah.
I've been a play tester,
Okay.
and I have offered some pitches for some of the play mechanics. And
Are you
stuff
guys
like
gonna
that.
do like MicroDude sketches?
I mean, I've considered it. I actually did a thing on
I saw that.
on
That was
Instagram
lit. That was
recently,
lit.
yeah, where I
Hilarious.
kind
Very
of like
funny.
I tried to bridge the gap between Chase and the MicroDudes. So
Yeah.
I would love to do more
Yeah.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
My buddy
idea.
Richard is, he's in Atlanta, and we've done some sketches together. In fact, Jack and I have also done a project recently, kind of similar to
yeah.
what you guys were talking about. Maybe like something with you guys together, but outside of the Nickelodeon
Yeah.
realm.
Yeah.
And so a project, it's called The Way. We shot a promo for it with me, Jack, Matt Underwood,
Let's
and
go.
Chris Massey.
Oh my
go.
gosh,
yeah,
the
exactly.
dream team,
Just
yo.
the boys.
The
Not because we wouldn't have loved anyone else, but it's
dream
just
because you're
team.
alpha dudes.
Because you
Yeah.
are alpha, beta.
because we are beyond. We're what they call regal alphas.
Which one of us do you think is the beta?
I think you're both alphas.
Listen.
Don't ask me that, Jack.
Wait, you just laughed at
Don't ask me
yourself?
that from the cup chair.
I want to know.
I think what's really special about Nickelodeon in general is that, and also our generation, to make it about the beta alpha situation. The alpha was always the enemy in our world. You know what I mean?
true.
Like
On
the
our shows.
popular
Yeah,
jock,
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
was never the cool
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
It was always about the underdog, the
Yep.
beta,
Yeah.
or even, I guess, the sigma.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Just
depending
someone who
on,
was outside the spectrum.
Yes,
That was
100%.
always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you call me a Sigma? Sigma lady?
I don't know. What
Micro
I was going to
chicks.
say, I
Micro
think you
chicks.
could pull it off.
I think I'm a
easy,
Sigma lady.
easy. But you're in
Okay.
a group though, so you don't, you can roll
So I'm
solo
beta.
too. Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, you're very subservient.
I
just
Well,
changed
then
my
you're
mind,
beta
right?
with me because Daniel is the alpha of this group.
Me? I think I'm Sigma.
I think he's the Sigma.
I think
He's
I'm kinda
outside
in
of the spectrum.
Like I'm
I think
kinda
he
He
You're
did just
behind
come back
okay,
from
Max,
he did a
fine.
solo trip to Mexico, so he is
You're
100% outside of the spectrum.
No, I don't subscribe to
Bro,
gonna
but
fucking
Lindsay, you know
puke
what you're
in your
saying?
spaghetti.
You were saying comparing the dick pics they send?
Yeah.
Micro dudes,
Dudes,
micro peens.
That's right.
Nice.
That's
nice.
Yeah, micro dicks works.
Micro dudes, micro
Because
dicks.
a micro penis is a real
If
thing.
you guys needed an after hours version of this game.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
yes.
real.
Oh yeah, well one of our
micro penises are
slogans
real?
is major issues, monster egos, micro everything else.
Oh,
You know.
okay, so it's
You've
there.
done the segue
Yeah, it's right
already.
there. Yeah,
I love that.
It's all
in
there.
a fugue
I love
state
that.
on a public podcast when our show had even higher numbers. Lindsay was like, "No, I mean it. Send me your dicks."
We got
And
so
I-
many,
I
hundreds
came
of
across
thousands of
that
dicks.
folder
It
the
takes a
other
lot
day.
of courage.
And then she wouldn't stop. Daniel and I would be
I'd be
talking.
like,
She'd
oh my
"Hey,
God."
guys, check this out.
Yeah.
Like, go.
If it ended, I'm sure she would stop, but they just kept going.
in some places you can get fired for that.
Yes, yes.
Definitely. Not at Ned's Pods.
Bye, baby.
No, it's beautiful.
So wait, what is going on with the way?
So the way is really cool. Okay, so it's basically like it's a character-driven martial arts kind of comedy.
Okay.
Nice.
It's basically about two lifelong friends that want to become kung fu masters, but they're broke and wildly unqualified to do so.
Sure.
It takes place sort of like in a really rundown dojo in Alabama, which they've inherited from their like recently deceased master Frank, who's like this like mobster from New York. His ultimate move is to pull out the pistol, you know.
He's definitely not in Witsec.
He's definitely not doing any kung fu or anything like that. But yeah, it's funny. It's kind of like it echoes like the early 2000s comedies like that we grew up with, like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah,
and like Dodgeball.
Yeah,
it's
Beavis and Butthead ran a kung fu
100%.
studio.
Yeah.
And it's featured.
What about the new guy? The new guy.
It would be a
too.
feature. Yeah.
The new guy.
That was great.
So it's written by my buddy Richard Sanborn. Yes, the new guy. That was so much fun. It took me a second there. I realized that. I was like, oh yeah, that's the one where that guy's dick broke. Or something.
Yes.
That's classic. Yeah. No, that stuck with me because I was always like, man, it would suck to break it. Can you break your dick? You know, I looked into that.
can.
Yeah, it's like they're
Apparently you
vessels,
can. Yeah. There's no bones.
kind
in
of
there,
insane.
But, you know. Anyway, bad things can happen. Point is,
Yikes.
I have a friend who actually like tried to test the tensile strength of his erect penis once, and he learned that it has a breaking point.
Whoa.
And that was.
So then
He
he's
went
got
to the hospital. Don't do it.
He's a scientist.
He's a scientist.
So he's a pioneer,
Well,
you're telling
Jesus.
us.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is the most dude thing ever.
He's
I'd
like,
like to talk to this guy.
the fucking strength of my
I'm so hard right
I
now.
asked him why.
Another plate.
Yeah.
You asked him why?
Let's go.
Yeah. Why did he have this?
Oh, he was like, well, it just seemed so hard, like nothing could break it. So I just.
This
Wow,
is
that's
amazing.
man. That's a man right there.
Is that
my
That's
God.
the most manly shit I've ever
Some
heard.
part of the game.
Yeah.
What
Can
the
I
fuck?
turn him
That's
into a
toxic
microdude or what?
masculinity.
That's
right
incredible.
Yeah.
That is
It just seems so
It hurt
hard.
itself in confusion. Right.
Wow,
It's so
bro.
toxic. Yeah, it's.
Wow,
yeah.
bro.
Sometimes the limits have to be tested.
Wait, no. How did he? Was it like a cinder block, multiple cinder blocks tied with a rope? Like what? With his own
Just
hands?
choking it.
One hand, the other, and just.
Did he torque it?
No.
Or did he, okay.
No,
he
that
torqued
is-
it, yeah.
Yeah. It was.
You say that so calmly. Oh,
like-
Sigma.
Look,
Sigma.
yeah.
he sprained his
It's
dick.
like not to get gross, but
That's
it's like
bad.
it's sacks that fill with blood. That's how it gets hard, right? So it's like he just broke that. Totally, and it's like it was crooked for the
So
rest
sorry,
of his
Eric.
life.
Just
And,
crooked.
It's because it didn't it just doesn't feel the same way.
Now,
anymore.
does that
Did we
leave
ever
a
think we were
bruise,
gonna-
a lasting
Really
bruise?
think we were gonna go this route.
I'm
Listen,
really happy
it's the
with that,
17th
though.
parallel all over again.
Wait,
this
can't
is
he just
great.
bend it back in the other direction and then get back
'cause
straight?
then
Well, you'd break it again,
You break
right?
it again.
Isn't it a re-break?
So
Right,
is
that's
it just
what I
a
was-
90 degree now?
He's got to go all the way.
It's gotta be more like
Jack's
35.
Okay, for those of you
Right in the
just
middle.
listening, Jack just gave me the subtlest, most terrified nod. It was so a micro nod. It's just a 90-degree angle now, so he has to
I've never
fuck from the
seen
side.
it. Yeah, I don't
Yo,
know.
but that's
seen
a
it,
reach.
guys.
The ladies got to
Listen,
kind of make
I
it
know
like
this
that.
guy has let
That's
you
what I was
know.
gonna say. I was like, isn't there
Wow.
something a little special about that? Maybe, you know.
Maybe it's lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody's got to.
For the
There's
right-
someone out there
Hey,
for him.
volunteers tribute. Let me check this out.
Ducks
Lock and
apparently
key,
are in the shape of a
you know,
corkscrew.
the
Wait,
right-
has he found a new lover? I think it's a
Yeah.
question everyone wants to know. Because if
Yeah, is
I
he
break my
single?
dick,
Is
I
he-
want
yeah,
to.
like, what's the deal?
What is there hope?
We'll talk about this off the pod.
Excellent.
Okay, all right.
Jack's
Next
dug
Jack-
himself into a
it's
deep
Jack's
hole
lover.
here. Yeah.
Dude, we
Wow.
need another card that's like broken dick. As
That's
one
an
we can-
event card.
Oh, it's an event card.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
MicroDudes, guys,
Yes,
on
MicroDudes,
Kickstarter.
check them out.
Go get it now. You got to do it
100%.
now.
So we'll put the Kickstarter
You guys are
here
the
in
best. I
the
appreciate y'all.
where wherever it's going to be floating.
Sweet.
Is there anything
I
else that
appreciate
you
it.
would like to tell us about this game or to finish up? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you have something?
Just before we go, I want to know how was the reboot for you?
Yeah,
man?
what was that
How
experience
like for
how
your
was-
character?
How was it getting back together with the old gang as adults?
It was really fun. I did not get a proper like high school reunion. And
Yeah.
a lot of my sort of high school years were sort of spent being, off acting.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I always felt a little half in, half out, where I was like not really. I was a recurring character. I was one of the most recurring characters on the show.
Right.
But I wasn't, there every week.
Right.
And so it left me in this place where I was like, all right, I kind of have friends at school. I kind of have friends
Right.
working
The
there.
cast, yeah.
And it was very restorative in that it was like, oh my God, like I belong here. I am with these people.
Oh,
I am
dude.
like I belong at the table. So it was a very
Oh, yeah.
it was a very
You certainly do, man.
fulfilling moment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Jack was always one of the
Answer
funniest
a
parts
question.
about the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
he's one of the
remember.
best characters.
I remember, and I get that, man. Like us doing this podcast and talking to so many of us from this era has been that for us of just being like, oh yeah, we all did share this childhood that seems elusive now, and like, was it a dream? Did it happen?
It was such a
I
special
real?
time.
Like, but it was a special time, and like, yeah, getting to talk to like so many of us has felt that way for us. We just don't get to do it on set.
That recurring
Yet.
game is
Yeah.
like
Yet, Devin.
Come on.
I'm fucking
It's-
around.
I know.
it's-
You're great.
It was very cool. It was a very cool thing. It was a little scary at times because the director, I think, found out that I was funny like halfway through.
Just
She
throwing
did,
you
yeah.
new stuff.
No, she would just be like, "Jack, be funny."
no. Oh
And
no.
then Jack
like,
does something funny. You're like, what?
There's a lot of pressure.
So that was like, it's like, okay, we don't really have an idea for this setup here, so just we're gonna do you and you and you. And
She threw a couple curveballs at Jack.
there was this whole scene at the end where the setup was like they just put us in chairs like one after the other, and it was like it was a game basically. We're like, all right, just go, just improv, like, and my whole thing with Matt was, so what's it like having sloppy seconds, dude? And it made it into the cut, and that was so gratifying. I was like,
Dang.
I nailed it.
Hell
So it was
yeah.
great.
Wow.
That was
wild.
funny.
That's why.
yeah.
Wait. Your character got married.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of. No.
Married?
Actually, no.
No,
It was
whose
Quinn and
character-
Logan. It was Quinn
Yeah.
and Logan.
Quinn
got
and
married.
Logan
We
got
got to a
married.
That's why
wedding.
he was joking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the sloppy seconds.
Because
No, the sloppy
he
seconds is
dated
'cause he
Aaron's
dated-
character
Yeah.
on the original show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, like my whole character's drive was that I was sort of like henpecked and I had married someone else, and I had a joke in there that didn't make it where I was like to Aaron, I was like, "You ever feel like you married the wrong person?"
Oh, you had a quick moment. Oh, that would have been great. They should have kept that.
And she was so funny. She's like,
No,
it's my wedding day. What are you talking about?"
my wedding day. You
Man.
No, me neither. No.
Same.
Love you,
Yeah,
honey.
same.
She's
Yeah.
next to you.
Yeah, cut to her. She's just like, yeah.
Dude.
No, but their relationship in that show was so funny.
So
too.
great.
I mean, well, in the movie especially too.
Yeah.
With her being the podcast host and,
Yeah.
and Jack. Yeah, it was just
Super sweet.
hilarious.
Yeah,
No, I
when we
loved
were-
your
super
moments.
sweet.
I loved your moments in the show because, like, Aaron's character Quinn, she was like adjacent to Cookie because she was like this whiz, like with
Yeah.
computers,
Right,
just like my
right.
character.
Yeah.
So I was always watching your scenes; they were great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude.
And Chris Massey.
Yeah.
We got
God.
to have him on the pod. He's an old
And he's
friend
out in
of, like,
Atlanta
all of
with you,
ours.
He's out in Atlanta, man.
Out
We
in
see each
Atlanta.
other every now and then. Yeah, like I said, we just got together to do this little promo for the way. It was really fun.
Heck yeah.
And I mean, working with him, hanging out with him. I mean, all of us together. We
was really
really
cool.
do have laughs. Yeah, I
They,
mean, that's the thing, you know.
Yeah, they put us up in a hotel that was like sort of a condo, but
Yeah,
it
it
was
was cool.
just us. So it was kind of like a dorm.
It was
So
really
Where
cool.
like I was
fun.
It was
downstairs,
fun.
I got to bring my wife and child, and I was like there, and I could pop up to Matt's room and
Yep.
like come hang
Dude.
out.
We'd
and-
hang out after. So
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, it was sort of a flashback. I know, it was really
It's
magical.
really special. It's really like, yeah, it's beautiful to get that chance to like kind of like, I don't know, complete
Commune
that
living?
cycle
Oh.
as
It
adults.
was really cool.
Dude,
It's really sweet.
I always like really thought you guys had the most amazing experience on set because you were up in Malibu. Can you just tell us
Oh,
about that?
dude.
Because we were out in Burbank.
Yeah,
I was
listen,
really
oh
jealous
but
of
God
that.
forbid they had to drive that
Pepperdine
far
University.
every day.
I went
first
to
season.
set
True,
with
but
Chris
that
a couple
view-
times.
And
Two,
back.
right? Yeah.
Oh,
No, the drive was rough. Although, let's face it, we weren't driving.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
your
yeah.
parents
I,
were
I
driving.
straight up,
You were
yeah, I
God
was
bless.
straight up. I had
God
a CD
bless.
player, and I remember that CD player.
Oh,
You know, I'd be
wow.
listening on the way to set. And no, but we really did have a good time filming out there.
Yeah,
at
they
Pepperdine.
filmed
It
in
was
Malibu. They
it filmed
filmed
at
in
Pepperdine
Pepperdine. It was so
University.
beautiful.
It was
It was
beautiful.
nice, yeah.
But
Yeah,
only the first
it's
season.
only the
Then
first
they-
two
then they tucked you
seasons.
guys inside.
Yeah, then they
Where at?
well, what? Yeah, we went over to Valencia.
Santa Clarita.
oh yeah.
And so they built like it was actually
Same amount of drive.
Those
less
studios right
amount
there,
of-
right
Yeah.
off of like Magic Mountain Parkway or whatever.
No, it was a
it was a
biomedical facility.
Yeah.
It is the weirdest. It's still there, and it's the weirdest footprint of a property ever. There's a Montessori school. There's the biomedical facility. They do like they make prosthetics.
It's
There's
weird.
a brewery, and now I think it's yeah.
We went to the brewery together.
yeah.
It was
there's
fun.
so-
Yeah, we went to go visit.
strange.
Can you
yeah,
believe
last
Big
time we were
Time
here.
Rush got on Paramount?
Bruh.
We were at Occidental in North Hollywood,
Bruh.
also like a converted warehouse into a
yeah.
studio, no working
Behind
air
an
conditioning in the
Oh,
valley in
lovely.
the summer.
Warehouse.
Yeah.
We were right where we
Glamorous
needed to be.
stuff.
Yeah.
But it's about the family of it, right? It's
Right.
like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys-
family. It's all
about
that's
family.
what you're always
Sure.
coming back to, and it's a beautiful thing. And-
It actually is, though.
That's
It actually
fucking
is.
prolific. Bro.
He's a writer.
Yo,
Yeah, we're gonna
we
talk
need
more
to,
off air about
Yeah.
writing.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I really didn't.
100%.
I really didn't hit you guys back about this sketch thing, huh?
No, you.
I have no memory of it.
Yeah, that opportunity's no. I'm
It's
just-
The opportunity's always been there. Devin
Off
Table.
the table, bitch.
Lastly, and then we can all just give a tip.
And then we got a tip.
What about your what did Chris why did Chris Massey ruin your wedding?
Oh, he did not ruin my wedding.
That's what you were
forgive me
saying.
for
You
saying
weren't
that.
out there. You were just saying it.
Yeah, I was
rumor
literally
is he
telling me.
wrecked
Yeah,
your
telling
wedding.
you guys. Yeah.
Chris.
No. No, Chris made it to the wedding. So did Jack, by the way. Jack was at the
Oh.
wedding
Was
too.
that
Yeah. So that was lovely. No, but the story is that of course Chris couldn't help himself. He had to say a few words at my wedding. And you know that's fine. I welcomed it.
Shawn,
You know,
Shawn,
it wasn't
hey.
planned.
It was like
you know?
mother of the
Yeah.
bride,
I've known this guy a long time.
one of
Yeah,
Rio's
basically.
closest long-term family friends, and then Chris.
Yes. I was like, oh look, there's Chris getting up there. That's cool.
man.
No, it was hilarious. He was so sweet. He just wanted to have a moment, you know. And honestly, like it was the words he said were very nice. You know, I had such an amazing wedding. It was so much fun. Yeah, we had this woman from England come by and like sing on the guitar. You remember Claire
Yeah.
Hamill? Yeah,
It's
it
lovely.
was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So Chris didn't ruin it. He
Yeah.
he contributed to it.
I also
Yeah.
think that he had just met Lindsay at the wedding.
Yeah, no, literally, it was like,
So-
yeah, it was funny.
He was
Incredible.
He's like, you seem great.
Yeah.
Your wife's name is Lindsay.
It's gonna work
In
out.
the speech,
Yes.
you seem great. I'm speaking though.
Yeah.
This guy.
Listen, he was a big part of my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
It
Mine
was
too. The reason my Instagram handle is Work Harder is because the Massies.
There we go.
No.
Because Kyle and Chris, what's up, Work Harder?
No way.
Shawn, oh my
love
gosh,
that.
my email address is from a nickname somebody gave me. That's
Yeah.
so silly.
No, it's the Massey boys. What's up, Work Harder?
All right, so we
Oh, yes.
go
Yeah.
ahead. No, go ahead, Alpha Captain. No,
get
no,
in there. No,
please.
please.
You saw I was about to speak.
You guys
Please.
are both alphas. I just
Thanks.
realized that you're
Hey.
fighting
All
for
right,
it.
that's right.
Yeah.
I'm taking it back. We like to give a little tip at the end of each of our. So go ahead and unzip your pants.
Oh.
And
Whoa, no, Lindsay!
Wait, is
I'm
it
sorry.
just
I'm
a
so
tip?
sorry.
Okay.
Just
So
tip.
hard it
I'm-
can't break.
It's so hard.
Listen, I prefer any tips
Test
over
that,
the
baby.
pants, okay?
Who has
Okay,
more tensile
so-
strength?
Tips. I don't know
We give
about
tips
your
to
life,
the-
about
to the audience.
whatever.
Sure.
Any
Talk
part
to
of life.
somebody and tell them
Some
something.
advice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, I can start. Two things. One, lead with love. Okay, that's tough. We all have bad days, and do your best to lead with love and to stay curious. You know, I think those are two really important things. If you have love in your life, and you can also keep that flame of curiosity alive, I think that's what life is all about. You know what I mean? If you can manage to make those two things a part of your life.
Yeah.
The rest is all just what you need to survive.
That's nice.
Heck yes.
Yeah. You should also eat and drink water too.
That helps.
A little bit.
That helps. Valid.
Yeah.
Jack?
Hell yeah.
Positivity begets positivity.
Mm.
Be a beacon of everything you want in life. And every person is a different person. That is an adage that I try to live by.
Mm.
It's about not bringing old bullshit into new interactions.
Right.
Allowing yourself to experience the new.
Mm.
I feel like there's a lot of language out there that's leading people to be like, hey, you don't lead with kindness, you'll just get your heart hurt. And I very much disagree with that philosophy. I think be kind until you're given a reason not to be.
I
love that.
My kind of guy.
Lindsay.
Hell yeah.
Why would you answer me first?
That's the order, right? It goes me and then
you are
You just gonna skip yourself down?
Every person's a different person. No, I know who you are, Dad. I know exactly who you are.
I know everything about you.
All right, listen, everybody. Have forgiveness for your friends, okay? Forgive them. They know not what they do. As our good Lord and Savior said, you might not know him, Jesus Christ.
I've heard of him.
Anyway, I
Jewish stuff.
He was like, he was a man, right? The
I
man.
hear good things. You know?
yeah, forgive them their faults.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Yes.
They know not what they do. Is that what they?
That one,
something
huh?
like that.
They know
Forgive
not
them,
what they
Father,
do.
for they know not what
I
they
saw
do.
the Passion once.
You know what? Mine is gonna be, guys, go check out MicroDudes Kickstarter. Okay?
Oh, yeah,
Go ahead.
baby.
Support your friends. Actually, is my
Yeah.
tip. All right, support
Love
the
that,
friends.
Daniel.
MicroDudes.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Bam.
My tip is while science is great.
Oh no.
I love this.
And
feel attacked.
you know, having a theory about something and testing it with experiments and facts and real life and you know, finding what happens. Don't test the strength of your penis.
Please, no. You lose every time.
There's no winning there, and it's not science anyone needs.
I know that a vagina is stronger than a penis just based off how much weight it could pick up. And that's our show for the day, guys. We
Nice work,
appreciate you
guys.
so much
Welcome
being on
back
here.
to Neds
man.
Pod, everyone. Thanks for
Jack
all
Salvatore,
of us.
We
Shawn,
super appreciate
Flynn.
this.
Jack, we gotta have you back to have a real
Yeah,
catch
brother.
up.
You down? You got more stories?
I do.
Yeah,
plenty
we'll
more.
have you
Thanks,
back.
full of
Thanks
them.
so much for having us, guys.
Yeah,
seriously,
honestly,
Thank you guys so much.
Great
This is
to
great.
see you
Perfect.
both, man.
Yeah.
It was amazing, honestly.
Cool.
Yeah,
see you
check
guys.
them out.
Check out MicroDudes.
Smash that like button.
Yep.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Love you,
out.
everyone. See
Love
next
you,
week.
everyone.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Peace.